Okay, so let's solve a big problem, a big congruence. Okay, 23 to the 457 mod 79. First thing we're going to do is just look at it. Okay, fine, it's prime. This is greater, 457 is greater than p minus 1, which equals 78. So we can use Fermat's little theorem. So 457 divided by 78 is what? Let's do 5. So 5 times 78 is 390. Okay? And we're left with 67. Alright, so that's the remainder. So now this congruence becomes (23 to the 67 mod 79 from, and I'm just gonna keep the original problem here. From that we go to that. Okay. So we have reduced the problem by a lot. I keep having problems with this. I'm going to have to buy me a new easel. Alright, so now we've got it to the 67 because everything else, so 23 to the 78 to the 5th power is 1 mod 79 by Fermat's little theorem. Okay, so the next thing is a trick that I learned while I was doing many of these problems to practice for the exam. Now, just to mention, you're never going to get one of these problems in an exam, in my opinion. You're going to get something a lot simpler, but I think it's really good to do a problem that is much harder than the test problem. And then when you walk in, you build something called confidence in solving that type of problem. You look at it and you're like, oh yeah, I have practice with much more complicated examples. Okay, so let's build the table of 79 in here. Now I've already done it off the side, so I'm not going to calculate it for you in this particular video, but when I do my self-test, I will be doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now why do I do this? It's because I don't want to be calculating these while I'm solving the problem more than once. And so if I do it once, I can just reference this table while I am solving the problem. Alright? So let's get on with it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to square 23. Alright? And I'll just write out the answer. I'm not going to solve it in this video. It's 529. Then 529 divided by 79, okay, is 6 with a remainder of 55. So now this problem becomes 55 to the 33 times, and I still have a 23 left over. Then the next thing that I do is I square 55 and I get 3025, and then I divide that by 79 and I get 38 with a remainder of 23. Now something really interesting is happening in this congruence. which will happen often, which is you cycle. So you'll go through a number, then you go through another number, maybe another number, and then you'll be back to N1. And you'll see this cycle as you solve these large congruences. Okay, so right here, this problem becomes 23, okay, to the 16, because you got to half this, and then you're going to pop out a 55 that you have left over, and another 23. And now you basically have solved the problem. How so? Well, because this is a power of 2. And that is wonderful. Because all you need to do, since you saw the cycle really went 23 squared becomes 55, 55 squared becomes 23. Alright, so what are we going to do? We're going to do a little downward staircase. So this is 55 to the 8, which is 23 to the 4, which is 55 squared, which is 23. And now this 23, you still had a lingering 23 from before, becomes a 55, and then this 55 combines to this one to be 23, and that is the answer. So 23 to the 457 mod 79 equals 23. Okay? So after this video, I'll have some examples that I'll do live just to test myself.